Fallout. Fallout. Oh, it's so addictive. Oh, this game has consumed my life for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been away from making videos on YouTube. Oh, blimey. Just thought I'd put this up because I'm coming towards the end of playing this now in terms of my addictiveness is beginning to wean, which is a good thing because that means I can start playing games again and doing videos. At the same time, I'm kind of glad I've played this because I remember a long time ago I did a reaction video to the trailer for this game when Bethesda released it, and I was very disappointed with how it looked and the fact that the only thing that seemed new to the game was a fancy looking dog and that your main character can actually speak, as in they had a voice actor attached to them. And although I thought it would still be an okay game, I was really hoping for something a bit more radically different and engrossing and what have you. So when this isn't actually my copy. This is my brother's. I'm kindly minding his PS4 while he's travelling around the world at the moment. He did say to put it away, but he also said if I wanted to have a go on Fallout 4, I could, which I have done. So if you're watching this, bro, sorry, it's addictive. But once I've done it, I'll put your PS4 away properly because I'm not going to be playing anything else on the PS4. But yeah, it is. I just thought I'd give you my thoughts and opinions on this game, just because I can and I will, and then hopefully then I'll be able to start making videos a bit more regularly. So yeah, it's really good. I'm sure many of you who are watching this have played it. If you haven't, you do need to go and play it. It's a very fun and very addictive game, and if you're a true Fallout fan and love the old Fallout games, the original ones on the PC, you probably won't like this as much because it's a little bit more dumbed down compared to the old classics. And in terms of 3 and New Vegas, as well, it's a bit more dumbed down. Although having said that, they've recently patched this to prepare it for the third DLC that's coming out for it, or at least the second major one, and they've enhanced it a little bit in terms of the main gameplay. I'll talk more about that in a sec. But yeah, no, this is overall a really addictive game, and it is very similar to Fallout 3 and New Vegas. So it's got a very similar style of gameplay. It's a first-person game with the ability to go third-person if you want. It's a role-playing game, although, as I've mentioned with the dumbed-down comment, they've dumbed down the role-playing on it quite a bit. Not too much. Well, no, actually, sorry, that's just juxtaposing what I just said. They have dumbed it down quite a bit, but you've still got role-playing elements in it. That's what I was meant to say. So the sort of mechanics that they focused on is like a first-person shooter. So compared to 3 in New Vegas, it definitely feels a lot tighter in terms of the first-person shooter mechanics. I know this is the console version and not the PC version, but even for the console version, I've noted the shooting in this is really good. It's very satisfying. And overall you just can't get enough of it. It's very good. It's much better than 3 in New Vegas. It's not like Call of Duty standard or anything like that, or Battlefield standard, but for this type of game it's exceptionally good. And I'm very sorry for the glare on the sun's reflection on the box. I'm so sorry about that. It's a very sunny day here in the UK at the moment on the Sunday. It's lovely. It's a very rare occasion, and I'm spending it indoors packing things to go to other people's homes because I've sold a few games on eBay to pad up the bank balance a bit. But anyway, be that as it may, I've got the windows open, it's a lovely day, and I've been out in the sun for about 5 minutes picking up dog poo, so I've had some sun. Anyway, going off topic, let's get back to this. So, yeah, in terms of the shooting mechanics, it's a lot more focused and refined, and I really like it. It's very satisfying. Shots really do count. The vibrations on the DualShock 4 controller are good and decent enough. So the shooting is very meaty and very satisfying, and when you kill enemies with it, again, extremely satisfying. Lots of blood and gore in this game, lots of limbs flying around everywhere, so it's kind of builds on 3 and New Vegas a bit, so it's very satisfying, very good. The actual world itself, I actually really like. A lot of people have commented saying the graphics is not very well improved upon, shall we say, compared to 3 in New Vegas, and I can understand why, because it's such a big game. To try and make this game as big as it is, and it is a very big game, by the way, in terms of the world and how much you can explore and the places you can go and visit, etc. It's massive. 3 in New Vegas was big, don't get me wrong, but I think this is even bigger than that. I couldn't say by how much, but it certainly feels a lot bigger than the other two, which is good, because more content means more gameplay, which means better value for money. But graphically, yeah, it still looks good. I mean, it looks just like 3. but a bit sharper and a bit more HD'd up, so there's some better textures on it. But personally, I thought it looked good enough to feel immersed into the game. So in terms of world immersion, I haven't had much of a problem with it at all. I really like it. I think it's very immersive. It's very atmospheric, especially when you go through cities that have been destroyed by the bombs. It's a lot more scarier and a lot more threatening than in 3 in New Vegas. You certainly feel like you're there, and you really have to be on your guard for any enemies that might surprisingly attack you, like feral ghouls, which is another thing I like about this game as well, is the enemies have been improved substantially. They're still similar, if not the same, as in 3 in New Vegas, with a few new additions, but again, they're far more powerful and they're far more meatier to play, and they look great. And the ghouls are much better as well. The feral ghouls, I thought, in 3 in New Vegas, while they could be scary and intimidating, they're a bit of a pushover, really. But in this game, Christ, they've been upscaled, and they're much harder to deal with, and they're very ferocious and tenacious as well, so they're a lot stronger in this, and they come in swarms and everything. Really good, especially when you're going through, like I said, the bombed out cities. There's tons of them there, and oh god, it can be scary and quite you can really catch you off guard. So yeah, the enemies in this game, a lot of them are familiar, some of them are new, and the new ones are pretty good as well, and pretty interesting concepts, and again, very powerful, pretty cool. So yeah, gameplay wise and enemy wise, graphic wise, I haven't got a problem with it. I think it's great. The looting is fantastic. It's a bit simplified as to how you loot and what items you can get, but what I do like about this game is they've put a much more bigger emphasis on finding junk items. So like in 3 in New Vegas, you could find chessboards and cups and bits and bobs here and there that you could put in your junk launcher, but that was about it really. A junk launcher being a special kind of gun where you can literally just fire junk at enemies is pretty fun and fantastic. But in this game, junk is very important because unlike 3 in New Vegas, you can actually build things and construct things, a bit like in Minecraft, and it's really cool. It's not very sophisticated, mind you, though. I mean, compared to Minecraft, it kind of feels like they've added it on at the last minute, the build mechanics, and it's quite hard to navigate through as well. The tutorial's really poor for it. Which I suppose some people might argue that, well, for an RPG game it should be, you should be spending time and learning how to do it yourself, which is fair enough. But for newbies and for modern gamers today who are used to tutorials, it's quite hard to use and do. And the controls are not that intuitive for it. So I'd advise, if you do play this game and you haven't played it yet, do look at some sort of guide on how to do the construction and building materials and stuff. It won't take you very long, and once you get the hang of it, it's alright. But yeah, but it's cool, but you need loads of junk to do it. So you must make sure while you're searching and looting for things that you loot and search for all kinds of items. They all have materials attached to them that you can find out what they have by scrapping them or visiting shops where you can buy junk off of the merchants, and it tells you what materials are within the junk. So you can always keep an eye out for certain materials and not have to think, oh, I have to collect every single one and I hope I get a certain material. No, the game does tell you what the materials are contained in the junk items, and it's really good. It's really satisfying. You never get bored of it. You just want to keep harvesting junk all the time, and then stash it at a workshop, which is what you use to build things. And also you can use it to you can use the junk to upgrade your weaponry and armor. So it's very important for weapon modification in this game. You don't just buy the modifications like you did in New Vegas. You actually have to buy the junk or loot the junk and then manually do it yourself. Although if you want to get the better weapon mods, you need to not get blueprints or anything like that. You just need to level up your character in a specific way. Which comes to the RPG factor in this game. It's a lot more dumbed down than 3 in New Vegas, as I said. You kind of like, every time you level up, your health and your health pretty much just goes up a bit. I think something goes up as well a bit, but I'm not sure what it was. It's nothing important, it's just something standard. But then you get a perk, and you basically open up this perk menu, which is like a giant sort of flow diagram of loads of things that you can put your perks into, and it affects your stats as well. So in this game you've got stats such as perception, endurance, agility, intelligence, luck, strength, and there's one more, and I've forgotten what it was. What the hell's what's the 7th one? Charisma, that's it. So each of those stats, strength affects how much stuff you can carry, and how strong you are, and therefore your melee attacks will get stronger the higher your strength. Perception means that the higher your perception, then the easier it is for you to spot enemies and get them poking up on your radar quicker, and you can do better in lock picking and all that kind of stuff. Agility is just how well you can restore your action points. So if you've played 3 in New Vegas, you have action points where it allows you to do slow motion, bullet time stuff. It's pretty cool. That affects how fast that regenerates, how much you use, and a few other things, as well as how well you use your guns. And yeah, I'll explain all the others, but there's really no point, otherwise this video is going to go on forever. But yeah, so you've got that, and then you level up those, and then once you've leveled them up a certain amount, then you can go down the flowchart underneath each stat. So your your 7 stats have like a flowchart underneath them, so it's like columns of flowcharts, and you can pick perks that enhance your character, such as you can make your lockpicking stronger, your hacking stronger, you can do better weapon mods, better armor mods, etc. And all kinds of other stuff. So that's how you level up your character RPG wise. So it's not quite as RPG as the other ones, but it's accessible and it actually does work. And to be honest with you, I thought I'd have a problem with it, but I don't. It's actually pretty good. And for me, I think it's, I'm getting older and dumber and stupider. It's good. So leveling up your character RPG wise is simpler, but it still works, and it works pretty well. So I've enjoyed that. So yeah, the RPG element dumbed down, but still works. It's good. The other thing that's interesting is the game's difficulty. It has several difficulty modes, as you know, like easy, normal, hard, very hard, and it has a survival mode, which I really loved about New Vegas. New Vegas had a survival mode where basically the game was really hard to play, and you had to make sure your character had enough food and drink and sleep to maintain themselves. Otherwise, if they didn't, they get dehydrated or hungry or sleepless and tired, and therefore that affected your stats and your abilities to do things in the game. And you have to do it, because if you don't do it or keep up with them, then your character can die or lose health rapidly and stuff like that. And it was really cool. I really like that thing about New Vegas, and I've always played New Vegas with survival mode, and it was cool. So they've put a survival mode in this game. However, it is very, very, very dumbed down. Okay, health. Another thing about survival mode was health items take forever to recover. If you play it on the other modes, then the health items sort of recover your health either instantaneously or very quickly, whereas on survival mode it takes a long time, so you have to use them carefully while in battle and find a place to hide, use them, wait a while for your health to recover, and then go charging again. Which still happens in this game, but other than that, that's it. You don't have to do food or drink or anything. And it was really dumbed down, so I didn't see the point in it, but I started it on survival mode and was playing with it. But as I've mentioned before, there was a patch released for this game to prepare it for the DLC. They've actually now upgraded the survival mode and gone from a really basic form to this most horrible advanced format ever. I mean, for a survival mode, it really does mean survival mode. You don't just... They've introduced you having to drink water and eat food and go to sleep, but in the normal modes, up to very hard, you can save the game whenever you want, wherever you want. It'll auto-save for you. You can quick save, and you can save manually. So it's got lots of saving features. So if you keep saving regularly, you won't lose your place. But on survival mode now, you can only save if you go to bed. So you need to find a bed to sleep in. Could be any bed, and then you can save your game. Then it won't auto-save, it won't quick save, and it won't let you save manually unless you do that. Which is really harsh, but old school in terms of Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and that kind of thing, where you had to save at certain points and stuff. I suppose it adds to the survival thing, but damn, it's quite a shift compared to what you're used to. Also, you've got illness in this game now with the new survival mode that they've just updated, so you have to watch out for being ill, so you can eat or drink or take drugs in this game that can make you ill, and if you get ill it affects your stats and you have to take antibiotics or certain medicines to keep on top of it, and other kinds of stuff. Oh, you can only carry very few items now. The weapon carry and the item carry limit in this game is quite generous for up to very hard, and you can improve it with the strength stat, but in survival mode now they've reduced it to bugger all basically, and if you decide to carry more than you can handle, it affects your back, which means that your character gets crippled, which means again they get weaker and stuff, and you're like, oh god. So yeah, they've really enhanced survival mode to actually mean survival mode. So I don't know whether I'll play this game again on survival mode and give it a go, but it's very intimidating, I won't say. But again, it's a good nod to the hardcore RPG fans. If they really fancy a proper, hardcore experience of the game, now they've got it. So I suppose that's pretty cool. In a way, it makes survival mode. So it caught me off guard, so I had to dumb. I was on survival mode originally, but I had to dumb it down to very hard because I just couldn't adjust to it. It was just too much of a leap. I was so far into the game anyway, so I thought, oh well, I'll finish this game off on very hard, so I'm used to how I play. And then if I decide to play it again, I'll do it on survival mode. But on the plus side, it was a free update, and I thought, oh, well, if it enhances the game and makes it much more challenging, then fair enough, it's free. So yeah, so overall, I mean, yeah, this game's very, very good. There are a few problems with it, though, that I shall mention. One off is the dialogue options. Your charisma stats is very, very dumbed down in this. You can still have meaningful conversations with people, but unlike in 3 New Vegas and the earlier games, where if your charisma stat was very high, then you get to access loads of alternative dialogue options, and you can really have proper conversations with non-playable characters, and you can either really get on with them and they say really cool stuff, or you can really annoy them and they say witty stuff or annoying stuff at you. It made the game very immersive, and it made you really feel like you were bonding with the NPCs in the game, or really pissing them off if you were antagonizing them. In this game, they've really dumbed it down now, so basically, even if you try to persuade characters to change their minds or say something important, it's really easy to do now. And you can exploit a mechanic in this game where I'm not sure now if they fixed it with the patch, but basically, if you save the game before you have to have a dialogue option with someone, and let's say you want to persuade them, but you don't have enough charisma skill to do it. In the older games, if you didn't have enough charisma skill to do it, then you couldn't persuade them or get them to speak differently or side with you. You had to do it the normal way, and if it meant that you couldn't persuade them and they were going to go against you or whatever, tough shit. You know, you had to improve your charisma skill or that's it. Whereas in this game, even if your charisma skill is very low, you've still got a probability chance that you can persuade them. So if you fail to persuade them, then you can pause the game, reload it from a save file that you would have done before you had the conversation, and just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again until the laws of probability say that you win, and then you can persuade them, and that's that. So it's an annoying exploit, but an exploit you can do, which means charisma skills really defocused in this game, and therefore it's just not really a big deal. But maybe with the patch they've changed that, I don't know. But, you know, it's still useful. Like, if you do upgrade your charisma, there's still some perks that can really help you out. But in terms of persuasions, there's just really no point. So that was a bit disappointing. And the dialogue options are very simplified as well. Like, when the characters are speaking with you, you know, if you decide to choose different dialogue options to get a different response from them, to try and annoy them or get them on side, or if you're just experimenting to say, what if I said this to this character, what would they say back to me? And then if I reload it and say this, what differently would they say? It doesn't really matter what you choose to say or respond to characters in this game, non-playable ones that is. They usually follow the same linear conversation path with you, as if to say, well, it doesn't really matter if you can persuade them, or it doesn't really matter if you choose an alternative dialogue, like you either agree with them or you conflict with them, etc. They'll usually react to you in the same way, and the outcome is usually very similar, if not the same. So it's a bit disappointing. Whereas with the older Fallout games, it actually had an effect. You know, if you choose to annoy someone or side with them or go against them or persuade your opinion that was different, it would have a huge effect on the character and how they behave with you, and even the story as well in some places. But in this, they've dumbed that down quite a bit, so a bit disappointed with that. Also, the side missions and a few other content bits in the game are very annoying. I won't go into too much details now, but they can get very irksome if you decide to chase them up, which I've done because I want to explore this game as much as possible, but yeah, it can get very annoying at times and very boring as well. So some of the side content or some of the side quests you can do are not very enticing or satisfying. They're a bit dull compared to 3 New Vegas, but there's still some side quests and some disturbing stuff in this game that is cool to explore and find out. So it's still got some scares, it's still got some intriguing sort of conversations and side quest stories and journeys you can go on, but not nearly as many as the previous ones. So yeah, it's a bit dull in that area, but not dull enough for you to not get bored or fed up with it. But yeah, there is a bit of a difference. But, you know, again, I got used to it, and the stuff that I did find that was interesting, so at least that still kept me up. And at least it gave me a motivation to keep exploring and looting and stuff in the case that I did find something interesting and disturbing. But a lot of it is a bit uninspired, shall we say. So yeah, so there's that. I haven't actually finished or started the main story yet. That's the other good thing about this game, is it's very non-linear in terms of what you do. So when the story's all set up, and it's a good setup to the story as well. I was actually pleasantly surprised by how this game sets you up to actually play it. It was very good and very well done. Cliched, yes, not original, but still satisfying enough for you to go, alright, I've got a motive. But you easily forget that motive within like 10 minutes. And you can completely ignore the main story and just not bother with it. So it's good for getting you started, but in terms of pressing sakes, it's like, yeah, well, once you forget about it, then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But, well, whatever, it's up to you. That's how you choose to play, really, so I'm not too boned by it. But it's a good setup to the game, and the criticism I had about like you seeing the past scenes of actual people in the past reacting to the bombs dropping off, and I was really annoyed because I really wanted it to be left to the imagination. Do you know what? You don't see enough of it to spoil it for you, and what you do see is still impactful and very effective and engaging the atmosphere and putting you into the world, because they don't actually make you experience that much of it. Right at the very beginning of the game, you're back in the past before the bombs go off. And then something happens where you go back into the future and stuff like that. I won't ruin it for you, but it was done really well, and a lot of time is not spent on it, which means you still got the imagination afterwards of how things were. And the worldscape is just littered with so much debris and skeletons and stuff. It's really eerie and depressing in some places as well. So in terms of the atmosphere, they didn't ruin it with that, oh god, now you can see what actually happened in the past, whereas, you know, in the previous games all you had to do was imagine it by finding bits and bobs, you know, to piece the story together yourself. But actually, no, it doesn't ruin it, and it actually enhances it, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. And the final thing I'll say before this video runs out is the dog is amazing. The dog is so cute and amazing and immersive. He's probably the most emotive character in the game, where you can properly relate and have a, you know, properly really enjoy. If you get the dog, which you do very early on, keep him or her. She's amazing, or he's amazing. It is very cool, the dog. I really enjoyed it. good companion. The other companions are all right, but the dog is the one you want to keep with, to be honest. So yeah, there's a few other things to talk about this game, but this video is only going to be 20 minutes long because my camera's limited to that. So can I say thank you very much for watching this if you have done. Sorry for the delay in videos, but now after this you understand why. If you want me to talk more about this game in a future video, I will do. But if not, then all I can say on this is if you haven't played it yet, check it out. If you have played it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a very addictive, very fun game, and well worth spending some time on. So anyway, hope to see you in another video. So take it easy, have a good one, and I'll see you around. Ah, there's the stop button.